What's going on, guys? It's your boy Evan here, and welcome back to another video. So this video has been a long awaited video for me to do because I've been wanting to do a video like this for quite some time, because this has been kind of like a thing to do now, or at least not right now, but this has been a thing to do on YouTube. This has been a thing to make a YouTube video on, and that's basically what's in my tech, what apps am I using, what kind of like productivity kind of like things do I do as far as what phone I'm using, like, and what is on my tablet, what's on my computer, whatever it may be. If you guys know who like all of the big like techie YouTubers are, like MKBHD, Austin Evans, Jonathan Morrison, Your Average Consumer, any of those people, if you might know who they are, or any people that do quality type videos and techie type videos like that, you guys might have seen them do videos like this where they'll literally put their phone in front of their camera and they'll show like what apps they're using and what is kind of like their lifestyle and like what they use those apps for, and kind of like, I don't know, just their general flow. So I figured it's about the right time for me to make a video like that. So without further ado, this is what apps am I using, or I guess I could call it the what's inside my tech of the phone that I'm using to record this video right now. So as you guys could probably tell, I am no longer using what I would normally use to record my videos like that, because what I'm using to record videos like that is now being showcased. This is my iPhone 6s Plus, and if you guys have never seen the back of it, this is a Deadpool skin by the sexy Justin Mahler. I'll leave a link to all this stuff in the description if you want. And the skin itself is provided by, I believe it's Slick Wraps or Skin Wraps. I forgot the name of it, but if I find it, I will put that in the description as well. So there's that. I think this looks really cool, by the way. So basically, and this is basically what my phone looks like. And real quickly, guys, before I go into the actual phone, I just thought I'd quickly showcase the wallpaper that I'm using for the home screen on my phone. This is my final project for my 3D design class that I took this semester, and it's basically a nature project. I'm actually thinking of making a huge movie type kind of like video, just basically constructing this final project and basically going really into detail of how this project came to be. But to make a long story short, I based this project all based around what has shaped my life and what is important to me, really. So just from a couple quick glances, you can see my practice tenor pad for like drumline and my longboard, because that's one of my big passions, and all these pictures all around at the bottom that represents my family. So as I said, look out for that huge video coming out soon, but this is just a little sneak preview, I guess you could say. But anyways, guys, going right into the phone, this is my home screen. This is what pops up, and I actually have all the apps that I use organized in such a certain way. So I guess I'll just basically go down app by app of what I use. There's that, and then there's all of these apps over here. And so I guess what's first is my social media folder. This is just all of my social media apps: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook Messenger, Discord. If you guys don't know what Discord is, it's basically like Skype, except without the video calling. And it's basically used to communicate with your friends, communicate with gamers, whatever, without using too much of your processing power. So my best friend Kenny introduced this app to me, and we've just been using this to talk ever since. We, as in me, Kenny, and my best friend Josh. And then we've got Xbox for managing my Xbox account, obviously. iFunny, just because. Crew I use for work. This is a work app that is used for communicating with your other coworkers, communicating with your managers, and like requesting shifts off. And this is really useful for posting schedules and like requesting to like switch shifts with somebody, or requesting some time off, like in case you're on vacation or you're going to school like me. So this is a really good app to use for that. And then swiping to the right here, we have Twitch. GroupMe is what I use for my acapella group that I was in back at Whitewater. And then Skype, just because I have kept Skype on here in case me, Kenny, and Josh, or anybody decides they want to Skype with me. So I just have it on my phone, just because. Moving to the right here, these are all my games that I have. I have Bejeweled, because that is literally one of my favorite games ever, if not my absolute favorite like mobile game. Bejeweled, Bejeweled Stars, which I've started playing but then kind of like fell out just because it got a little bit boring. Disco Zoo was actually introduced by a friend of mine a few years ago, and it is addicting. I fucking love it. Would You Rather, because that's one of my favorite kind of like, I guess you could say kind of like social games or like party games. I just like to play this every now and then just because. Hearthstone, I play with Kenny a lot. Hearthstone is a really fun and addicting game. I haven't played Pokemon Go in a while now, but I still have it on my phone just in case. Subway Surf has been around for, well, as you can see in the thumbnail there, 5 years, and I still love it. A lot of people have stopped playing that game, but I haven't. Same thing goes with Temple Run. Temple Run is another one of those games that I just kind of like have really like fell in love with. So there's that. Toilet Time is actually really funny. It's the game that I like to play whenever I'm on the toilet, hence the name Toilet Time. To right here, I have Trials Frontier. I have 8 Ball, just because I really love like billiards. The higher lower game is basically like they'll give you something to search on Google, and then you have to guess if like, you know, if that certain search result is higher or lower than the one previous, like in terms of like monthly Google searches or whatever. If that makes any sense. I'm really sorry if I'm being like really illiterate, like that's kind of one of my weaknesses, but you guys get the main gist of that game. Yahtzee, just because Yahtzee is a really like, I guess, childhood kind of like board game for me. This has been around for ages and I just love it to death. This particular game you can play with Facebook friends. I play it with a couple of my friends a lot, and it's just a blast. And then of course you've got Dumb Ways to Die and Dumb Ways to Die 2, just because it's really funny and it's kind of addicting, I'm not gonna lie. So moving right ahead, there's the stock iOS clock app that I use for setting timers, setting alarms mostly for waking up, and as obviously checking the time. Citibank Mobile for checking my bank account and shit. I know everyone has Chase and everyone's telling me to like get signed up with Chase, but Citibank kind of like, I guess you could say, runs in the family. So I just use it and I really haven't had any problems or any reason to switch. So yeah. And then just recently I've been switching like out of all the stock iOS apps, and I've been switching onto the Google apps because they're starting to get more integrated with iOS, and I've always been like kind of like hooked onto Google sort of things and Android sort of things. So that's why I've owned like Android devices before. So anyways, there's Google Photos for keeping all my photos, obviously. Google Drive for keeping all my files together. Google Calendar for obviously the calendar and putting reminders and putting events on there. Google Maps for getting around. I actually switch between Google Maps and the stock Apple apps, just because for Apple Maps I really like if I need to get somewhere, and like I can have this, like I can have my phone like set up onto my car, and then it'll actually like give you a visual representation of where you're going, what road you're taking, and the visual representation of you going down that road. You can't do that with Google Maps, so I kind of switch back and forth between Google Maps and Apple Maps, but Google Maps is there just because. Dark Sky is actually what I use for weather. Here, I'll actually go in this real quick. Dark Sky is actually a really good representation of the weather and like the precipitation and just really all of this weather like statistics. Like as you can see right now, it's 46 degrees right now. There's the high and there's the low for the day. That's really weird because you can't have a low of 49 and a high of 48. Whatever. And then if you click on there, it'll show you like temperature, it'll show you like wind pressure, humidity, all that sorts of stuff. So I just really like Dark Sky just for that. If you go down here, it'll give you like hourly kind of like temperatures and precipitation, you know, all of that. And then if you swipe to the right, you get your weather for the week in a really iconic, I guess you could say, and a really detailed sort of fashion. So that's why I really like Dark Sky for weather. My homework is what I use for homework assignments. I guess you could say this is my virtual assignment notebook. And it's really good because it actually reminds you when you have a homework assignment due, or when you have a test, when you have a project, when you have a paper to write. You can actually set reminders for certain classes too. Like this is actually integrated to like work with teachers, and it's an easier way to like send out homework assignments and send out reminders, all of that. And then for email, I have 2 different email apps. Gmail is my main email app, and then Outlook, Microsoft Outlook for school. It really baffles my mind why University of Wisconsin Whitewater chose to use Microsoft Outlook for their email instead of Gmail, I mean, come on, let's be honest here. Shazam, obviously, for finding new songs. Whenever I hear a new song, I just go right into Shazam. With the new 3D touch, I click and hold Shazam, and I just hit touch to Shazam, and then boom, it's going. YouTube, obviously, for YouTube, watching videos, that sort of stuff. Google Keep for keeping all of my notes across all of my devices. I literally have no idea how to get my life together, so I use Google Keep to keep all of my thoughts together, and keep all my thoughts together across separate devices, across my phone, across my tablet, and across my computer as well. So this is very good for that sort of thing. This is the stock iOS reminders. Like I said, I have no idea how to get my life together, and I use reminders to remind me for shit. Like if I need like a certain reminder set on like a weekly basis or a bi-weekly basis or a monthly basis in some cases, I use the iOS reminders to do just that. This is just a metronome app just because I'm a musician, and if you're a musician, you gotta have a metronome of some sorts. So I forgot exactly what this certain metronome app is called. But yeah, I think it's called like Pro Metronome or some shit like that. If you guys know what I'm talking about, well, there it is. I have this tally counter here because at school we have like this certain meal plan where you get like a certain amount of meals per week, and you use those meals like when you go to the cafeteria or when you go basically anywhere on campus. I just use this tally counter here to tally all the meals that I've used, and it kind of gives me an idea of how many meals I have left in the week. Phone and message, obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Settings, again, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then moving down here, this is Google Chrome I use for my daily web browser. Google Assistant, which actually just became available for iOS not too long ago. Google Assistant, as you guys may know, is the Google version of Siri. I'm not gonna lie, I like Google Assistant way more than I like Siri. I think Google Assistant has way more functionality and way more accessibility kind of like things. Spotify is what I use to listen to music. That is my daily music player, I guess you could say. And then obviously there's the stock camera app. And then moving to the right, we have all of these. These are just basically like all of the other apps that don't belong here, because this screen here, if my screen will focus, this screen here is like the apps that I use on a regular basis, and this is all of the extra apps. So moving on here, this is the rest of these stock iOS apps. Actually, not too long ago, they actually gave you the ability to disable stock iOS apps, like all the stock iOS apps that you don't use. But these are the stock iOS apps that I actually still use from time to time, and then I don't feel like disabling. And then up here is all of the extra, I guess you could say, iOS apps, like the compass and tips, voice memos I'll use from time to time, contacts, obviously, for keeping my contacts organized, finding my iPhone in case I am an idiot and I misplace my phone, or I misplace my iPad, or whatever. I can use find iPhone to look for just that. FaceTime in case anyone wants to FaceTime me and they're too lazy to get Skype. Productivity, I have iMovie, which I use sometimes to make YouTube videos and to make like movie type of projects. Audible is what I use sometimes, what I've used on certain cases to listen to audiobooks. Winds Mobile is kind of like the whitewater way of like keeping all of registering for classes, keeping track of your grades, that sort of stuff. So there's that for accessing your school shit on the go, I guess you could say. AHML is short for Arlington Heights Memorial Library. That is the library that I go to. They have their own app. And what I really use for this app is not more or less looking for a certain thing. I could really just go on the computer for that. But what I really use for this app is I don't have like a physical library card. So what I can do is I can just go into the app, log in, and I can actually get a virtual library card loaded up onto my phone for scanning and for checking books and games and all that shit out. So that's why I really use this app. And Great Clips is where I like to go to get haircuts. So I use the Great Clips app to check in early to a Great Clips store. Hoopla is actually what I use the most to listen to audiobooks, and that is actually tied with my library. So that is a really big plus, and Hoopla is actually really good for getting audiobooks and just having a blast, I guess you could say. The Speed Test app, obviously, for testing the speed of your internet connection or wherever you are. SyncMe is what I like to use to sync
my contacts with their Facebook accounts and Twitter accounts, Instagram accounts, all of that shizzle. Just because I really like the idea of like going into a contact and seeing their Facebook profile picture as their contact photo. I don't know, that's just me, but I just really like that. Netflix, obviously, for Netflix and chill on the go. This is called Zedge Wallpapers. It's one of the many apps I have on this phone for getting wallpapers, and I will explain why later. Informacast is kind of like the app that will send you like emergency updates considering school. So this is just really kind of like a whitewater based sort of app that'll let you know if the power's out or if there's a shooter on campus or something like that. And then Steam, obviously, for games on the computer. I think that's all I really need to say about that. Moving on to the food tab, I have Chipotle, Jimmy John's, Panera, and Taco Bell for ordering food before I actually get the food. Shopping, I have G2A for buying games for my computer, Fandango for buying movie tickets, Live Nation for buying concert tickets, Amazon for buying Amazon shit, GameStop for buying GameStop shit, and Guitar Center for buying Guitar Center shit. Get it? In the music folder, I have the UE Boom app for my UE Boom speaker that I have. Pitch pipe, just because every musician needs a pitch pipe to reference a certain pitch. And SoundCloud is what I use to get some of my music. Not all of my music, but some of it. In the Utilities app, this is just more for like fun shit to manipulate photos or just fun shit in general. Like there's the Instagram layout in case I'm making an Instagram post where it has to do with multiple pictures. It doesn't really matter at this point now that you have the ability to put multiple photos into one Instagram post. Sketch Guru, what this will do is this will actually take one of your photos and make it look like you actually drew that photo. I just thought I'd give a quick little example of how this app works. So as you can see, this is a beautiful looking picture of my friend Kenny. Kenny, I love you. Don't get offended by this, please. And then with the many filters down here, you can click which filter you would like put on it, and boom, look, I drew that. And you can do that in colored pencil, you can do that in crayon, you can do that in more colored pencils, you can do that in watercolor. So it's just a really fun way to make awesome looking photos, I guess you could say. There's Bitmoji, mainly for just Snapchat, you know, the little like guys that represent you. By the way, quick side note, look at my hand, that looks beautiful. Nice. And then Prisma is another kind of like filter app. It's just mainly another app for putting filters onto your photos to make them look better. And then here's all of my Google apps. Obviously there's Google, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides. I'm pretty sure you all know what all of those are. Google Plus, I don't really use Google Plus, I just use that for account management. Google Cardboard for VR headset. Chrome Remote Connector, I think it's called, is what I like to use to control my computer from my phone. It's actually pretty cool. And I actually just got this not too long ago. It is the official Google keyboard for your phone. If you guys want to learn more about that, you can go check out the app for yourself. Calculator, in case I'm dumb and I need to calculate shit. Musically, I'm going to skip right past that. Free VR player, I'm also going to skip right past that. That's pretty self-explanatory. Live wallpapers and wallpapers are both wallpaper apps for getting wallpapers onto my phone that look cool. Live wallpapers, if you guys don't know what that is, they're only available to the iPhone 6s Plus and up. They're like the wallpapers that you click and hold on, and then they're like animated, if you guys know what I'm talking about. So I just like to use live wallpapers to get live wallpapers. Wow. Fandango now, I don't use too often. I just use it just because I got an offer for getting like movies at a discount just because I went to go see a certain movie. That's all I really use it for. Bands in Town is another app that I use to look for concerts nearby of like bands and singers that I really like. And then the Walgreens app, I usually just use this app for printing out physical copies of photos that I take on my phone or whatever. I mean, you can use this for whatever you do at Walgreens. I don't know what you do at Walgreens, but you can do it for that.
So anyways, guys, that's been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like on the video. Please leave a comment down below if you really wish to do so. Check out the link in the description of the links that I previously stated. And just check out the description just because there might be some cool shit in the description. I don't know. But anyways, guys, it's been your boy Evan here. Peace out.